Hello, welcome to another episode of Clinical Edge. Today we are joined by Sridhar Uyyala, founder of TensorLinks AI, a company using Agentic AI to transform how healthcare and dental practices manage patient engagement, scheduling, and front office operations. Sridhar, welcome to our show.
Hi, Nirad. Thanks for having me here. Hi,
Yeah.
everyone.
I would just like to first, maybe to our viewers, make them understand what exactly is the concept of Agentic AI. And what is it that most clinics, what problems do they see in terms of scheduling?
To put it in a simpler way, agent is nothing but an assistant with the tools and able to converse with the assistant, and you can provide the instruction to get stuff done. So it can follow the instructions. So it's more of think like an assistant, an agent will have a goals. You can set up the goals and you can set up the policies, what it should do to follow the policies to achieve the goals. And then you can also provide instructions and how to accomplish that goals. And you can provide the tools to execute that goal, and it can be interface, it can use those tools to accomplish that goal. It as simple as that. Think of like we're building an assistant that is capable of just following your instructions with the tools that it has, as simple as that. And in terms of application to healthcare, it is everywhere with automation, right? If any operations, be it dental, be it healthcare, or be any business, you have a lot of operations, administrative, and that is manual, and some of it is solved by traditional or some of the softwares that are trying over the years. But these are again fragmented and they have structured responses only they can talk to. You always have a human staff that is operating these different softwares to accomplish the goal. So in this case, the staff is the one that is manually orchestrating what they want to accomplish. Now, with the advent of AI and the agentic mainly, now we have an agent that can talk to that can operate the same software. It is there and orchestrate them and accomplish the same things. So now it's a amplifier for workflows automation. And there were many attempts before the other AI that were made using the robotic process, like simpler automations. But this is the final holy grail of the automation. I could call this the agentic AI is going to be the next decade of how you get things done.
Thanks. There, so a little bit on focusing on the problem that healthcare providers don't talk about, I would say. What are these biggest operational challenges facing healthcare providers today, and how serious is the problem of missed calls and scheduling inefficiencies, I would say?
Yeah, you can look at from two angles. One is staff shortages. All right. You need the staff to run your clinic or healthcare clinic. It is like any other business. There is a lot of ton of paperwork. There's ton of the administrative work that need to be accomplished. And you're always staff on short, right? And as with any business, you want to be available like all the time, like always on, to be able to provide the care. In healthcare, it is for the patients to be able to provide the information, to be able to onboard them. If they're, and also you might be serving your customers might be in a different demographic. You could be serving a lot of customers with a different language and demographics, and you need always translation services. Some of these are like the core problems, like to be able to being available all the time and to be able to speak multiple languages and being helpful, not like a chatbots or anything, to be able to really helpful for the patients, right? Some of the technologies that we have seen before the current agentic AI, they're very robotic, they follow a script, and people wouldn't be appreciative of that. It's a convenience, but it's also a pain that, hey, you want to talk to human all the time, pressing zero, right? If you're talking. But it's not, and another misconception is that it's not just the voice that we're talking here. It's just any channel or the interface that you're talking to. Imagine you're a staff, right? You wouldn't just talk to the patients. You might be conversing over the email. You would be conversing over the SMS. Similarly here, it's the same thing. And the challenges, as I meant, like all of these are challenges. It just takes time and repetitive. If you have 10 patients in a day or 20 patients in a day that you're seeing, like a small clinic, that you would actually end up doing a lot of administrative work just to care the patient repetitively and manually, be it collecting the insurance information, providing the right slot for them, and being available so that you don't miss a call. And you might have the patient sitting in your database that would need a care, like a timely follow-up, and their benefits might be expensive. So you want to reach out to them. How would you reach out to 500 patients, like possibly and book an appointments, right? Into them without a staff involvement. That's what I think is the great enablement, right? We're not only just saying AI, but we're also making it really useful, like compressing the time of taking the weeks to reach out someone and getting a care to minutes. And sometimes it just takes hours, right? So that's the enablement, right? You get the patients that you want to see the care, you're providing the care very fast, and you're solving all of these administrative problems, right? Including like how do we get faster to know like how much it is covered with the insurance, right? How much payment that is going to be there for your care, right? So all of these can be now made automated so that you get faster access to the care, and you can run your clinic very lean, right, without bogged down by these administrative work.
Got it. Got it. So Sridhar, tell us a little bit about your background, your journey so far, and then what led you to start TensorLinks AI.
Yeah, sure. I came from a technology background, a software engineer, right? I also have a little bit of research background. Worked as a defense research scientist, and then moved on to private industry where I worked with IBM. I was always drawn by the operating systems and system side of the things. So I worked in IBM operating systems group, like AX operating system, and moved on to file encryption solutions, like hardcore, more of an operating system, the guy. And then moved on to become open source technologies, and then the forward-looking technologies like virtual reality and some of the deep learning technology that the AI is foundation of now. And with that knowledge that, hey, this is technology is great, we are solving one specific problem, but end of the application is where everything is. I'm always gravitated by the startups and the companies that are doing amazing stuff. The technology that we use every day is not just a technology, but how you bring it to the people, right? So that's how I got started to think, okay, how can I build something that's going to be meaningful, useful, and that I always wanted to have the product that I have built to be in the hands of the people. So that's how I started.
TensorLinks, like how did you think of healthcare, or were you connected to healthcare in your previous? Or
Yeah, not really, to be honest. I actually started the company TensorLinks with a loose. My idea initially was to build an assistant for the cars, like for automotive. Like, how
oh,
would your
nice.
life, how would your
And you
life be
landed
when
up in dental. Okay.
yeah, it's a little bit a kind of a pivot and a journey of figuring out like where your product market fit is, what you're going to build that customers are going to use. When I had this idea of building the interactions for the car, like an AI that's going to interact with you while you are moving, it's like Alexa on the wheels, right? 2017, too early, the interactions weren't there, voice wasn't there. And I was too naive to understand like how big of a problem that is. And I did not know like how to approach it, right? But that was a good learning. Put together a prototype, you're still working like you're working in the company, just working on one specific putting together prototype instead of solving the bigger problems. I realized that it's not going anywhere, and I had to do consulting for bills and get back to figuring out what to do. Then I think 2021 to the when the GPT-2 started to like emerge, GPT-2, GPT-3 models. Then I realized, okay, the automation is going to be here, interactions are going to be here. Maybe it's time to go back to and see what I can do now. Now, 17 was too early. I felt 2022 was a great time. So that's when I left the job and started to experiment with different products without again knowing anything about the business side of the things, because pure technology background, interested in the technology. So started to build a lot of prototypes. Didn't go anywhere. And year into it, I realized that okay, I'm building something for someone that no one has it, or no one wanted it. I don't know how to sell it to. Then I started to ask, maybe this would be good. Language models would be good for the healthcare, like the reporting and stuff. Maybe it can be a disruptor in the healthcare, I thought, to provide some kind of information, because we know that the healthcare information is scarce. Either you Google search something for if you have some issue, or you go to Wikipedia, read, but the technology terms are like too much. You don't even understand how some of these things work and what to approach. So you always go to a provider to get the help, right? An expert in the field. But I thought like LLMs could be that expert, right? I was always looking at the consumer angle. I didn't know that I'm going to do dental. But when I'm checked in my circles to introduce me anyone who into healthcare, my friend happens to be a neighbor of the dentist, and that's how it started. He just introduced, hey, I know you have an AI, you're building something. They have these things that they wanted it, or they have some problems. So I get connected with him, understood the operational issues, and even it wasn't like dump off. Look at these are the issues. We chatted out together some of the issues he had tried to explain to me, but some of them didn't. I got connected with the voice side of the things. For some reason, and started to slowly understand that part and build the solutions to automate the clinical workflows. And that's how it started. So a bit of a long journey,
It's
but
been like
ended up as
10 years, almost 10 years you started.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
been quite a long. It's been quite a long, but we're not on the same problem. The current problem, the where we are is 2023 July is when
Oh,
I started on
that's when
building
all
something.
the AI started picking pace,
Yeah,
like
like,
GPTs and like,
case. But again, at that time it was too new. Like all things are LLMs, right?
yeah,
Everyone is just writing a prompt and getting it stuff. there was no agentic evolution happened in 2022. The agentic evolution happened 2024
Yeah.
and in 2025. Then it became clear that's how you do
Uh,
the things.
how do you see the landscape? You think how fast is it growing, and especially in your field and beyond? Like, how do you see the agentic AI market,
I think the
especially in the
automation.
US? Yeah.
I think the automation is one way you can see and say, hey, this is how the transformation it can be, because you have pretty much a staff or an agent that is going to go do tasks that was not possible before, like to be able to talk to different softwares and get accomplishing the stuff, right? Accomplishing the task goals. And that's the primary building block that you have. And who knows, right? How is it is going to, and you have this building block of agents that can work together. That's another multi-agent orchestration to
Yeah.
solve any of the complex issues, right? But I think it is going to be an automation. It is going to be like easy workflows, and you can run things smoothly, right? The things that used to take weeks are going to take days, and days are going to take hours, are going to take minutes, and that's how I see it. It's like a time machine that's going to automate.
Let's talk a little bit more on your startup journey. How did you finance it? And did you have to, what were the challenges you faced initially and building those first few customers, clients?
I would have said, "Oh my God, you're asking the question that goes to the heart of the."
Yeah.
And I
And
wrong.
this is where we want to like more and more entrepreneurs to get influenced by people like you. And
Bootstrapped. It's never. But one good thing that happened is that initial connection that I had the customer to start with, who is
okay.
willing to take my solution and pay me for the monthly subscription, whatever the pricing model I came up with, right? That means I started, even though I tried for a year to figure out. At the time, I know have no has. I'm a single person. I'm okay. I'm not losing money, right? I'm just working it, trying to figure things out. But once I had that first customer, and I could see that I can automate things, I needed help. I slowly started getting more people, right, who are excited about that stuff. And we're slowly able to like organically grow, manage with the same subscriptions. And fortunately, even that clinic group has grown from 9 clinics to 27 clinics.
Wow.
And without me having to spend anything on the marketing, sales, kind of the things, it helped me to like grow my team as well and mature our product as well, right? So that helped us, but we were like very focused on the product which is needed. So it's like we are bootstrapped, and we got having that customer helped us without an angel fund. Otherwise you would be needing some kind of a capital to build a stuff
Wow.
that like build. Because building for one clinic is different, one product is different, but building like a platform or engagement suite for multi clinics and able to be in production, interact with the patients, not just prototype, right? And getting paid for it is, I think, one of the good things that happened for us as a company. And also the team that joined, like really enjoyed that phase of like scaling up. They understand now like more nuances. Even for us, it is a journey of figuring out like how do you build and scale. And that's how it happened. And now we are scaled, we are generalized, and we are going after we're trying to take these solutions to more clinics and groups where we have optimized our stack. And that's how we're going. We haven't raised any money. Now we know that it is a scale part of it now. It is like rinse
Yeah.
and repeat. And we know that how we got our customer, how we want to just scale that part, like
Did referrals
making the
help you a lot in that going to
yes.
27, right?
No, the 27 clinics was a single owner, right? There
Oh,
was no
okay. Okay.
part in.
The one you started
Um,
with,
huh?
the same one that you started with has to be
Yeah,
like.
he had grown from 9 clinics to 27 clinics. That helped me indirectly
So
to
now how
scale.
many practices are you like providing
Now,
your solution?
right now, so from single customer to now we have a group of 8 customers.
Great. Yeah, great.
Uh, that's a good one for us.
Yeah, of course.
And that's how like I would even say that just having that initial scale without having to spend on the other effort, just on the product itself helped us, because we just
Right.
focus on the product for 1 2 years almost, and we have like organic scale without having to do anything. And that helped us greatly with our product and what we want to do. What we actually, we build a lot of things that we throw away now, like almost like 6 months to 7 months effort is like not needed now because it's not needed for other customers that we have. So we are slowly figuring out like, hey, if we want to, from custom fitting one customer to how do we go generalize that is helpful for all others, and what parts are needed and what parts are not needed. It's a continuous evaluation and a journey. And now we throw away some of the products that we don't need, we don't want to put effort on, and also we are super focused on what we want to solve. And also looking at the competition, how noisy it is on the voice AI space. That's why we wanted to say, hey, we're not just a voice bot, We are always on the automation, it's always on the administrative this thing. And we're thinking like we're providing a staff for you that is going to help run your clinics. That's kind of our positioning. Yeah.
And what's your goal like for this year and maybe next 3, 4 years? Like any number that you have in mind that have to expand to
Yeah.
clinics and all? Yeah.
Yeah, now that the product is good, we just wanted to bring it to more places. I would want to see ourselves as like 150 clinics going from where we are now, and that would help us like break even point to be able to sustain. I also want to be aggressive on going after more workflows, right? And there are 150,000 dental clinics out there just on the dental. If you just focused on the dental, and we actually the majority of the vendors, the practice management software vendors, our stack is more mature and more compliant and also more secure. And we are now at I think we just wanted to grow and scale it up, make copy paste of our stack to many places. In terms of the revenue, we want to be at close to hit 1 million revenue.
Cool, cool. Tell us a little bit about your organization, like how many people full time and this, and are they all based in the US or?
No, we have a mix, and that helps us quite a bit too. And these people that I work with, our team, is they're very close, joined very organically, some through LinkedIn posting, some through referrals, some through friend circles. And they're all gravitated by things that I am doing. And not just what I'm doing, they're very enthusiastic. I started to learn from them now compared to they learned a lot from me in the beginning days. Now I started to learn from them too.
How many
I get
people
this.
are in total?
We have 7 people team now,
Okay,
including me.
great, great, great.
It is good. I mean, we have 3 people here and 3 people in India,
Oh,
and
where in India is your office?
mostly Hyderabad. Yeah.
Hyderabad, right? Sridhar, coming back to a point that we discussed earlier about the challenges that are there in the market, maybe
Mhm.
you can just throw some light on what TensorLinks AI is able to uniquely they are able to give it to the customers or the clients, which maybe your competitors can't. Or maybe
Yeah,
they
sure.
can, but what are you offering? We would like to know a little bit more about your USP.
No, yeah, that's good. That we always think about it, like how are we different? If we need to be different, right? But we focus on to again obsessively about the customer, and it's hard to even though it's simple scheduling, it's hard to solve it right. You can think like how hard it is to like book an appointment. You can do, or you can just collect the information and pass it to clinic. But as I mentioned, we don't want to add more work to them. That means that we understand deeply about their workflows, like what providers they have, what operators they have. Can they customize themselves to it? Can they actually, with right, the AI is great and all of it, like the latest models and everything. But a clinic owner who is not savvy in the technology, but wanting to use this agent helper, can they steer it themselves in a way that is possible and enforcing their policies? And end of the day, operational managers and the CEOs running these clinics, they understand more and they want to like customize for their needs and operations. So we actually built our solution around customization, right? And also scalability. Of course, every clinic we treat it independently, and they could specify to an AI, hey, this is how you want me to you want to schedule our appointments, and this is how you want to prioritize our schedules. So they can configure everything from rooms to providers to everything, like how to work. So they give that knowledge directly, and we just help in the beginning, and they can just go change it and steer it. Like it's like we're providing a staff, they can just use it. And that's one angle that we have, others don't have. The second, or I do not know if they have. The second one we are working is like a multi clinics. I think the problem of operations becomes really a challenge and a bottleneck when you have like multi clinic sites. And we see that the US it is predominantly going towards a consolidation. The dental groups, we call them DSOs, like dental service organizations. They actually manage a lot of clinics that run independently, and having to get run the operations is as a unified layer is a challenging part. And that's where actually you can amplify and get a lot of value add. If you're a single clinic, maybe the value add is this much. But if you're managing the operations at 10 clinics in a unified way, it just gets amplified. And that's our focus is on multi-clinic groups to enable that. And that's one more different factor. Our stack is made towards the DSOs or the multi-site clinic owners to get the benefits of the AI, early AI adoption, and they can customize it for themselves. So that's the take that we have that the others don't have.
Thanks, Sridhar. And finally, just to close it, before closing, a little
Mhm.
bit on your advisory part that we would like the viewers to know. What advice can you give to entrepreneurs who are trying to get into a similar setup? Not your competitors, people who could get like that. And maybe what was the hardest part of building your company?
Yeah, I think it's always figuring out what you want to do, right? That's the hardest part, right? And understanding enough of the domain that you are in and what are the other current solutions that are out there and what is it something that you find a space or uniquely built. It may have to be like something always doesn't exist, but it can be something existing, but how can you do it better? How can you do it cheaper? How can you make it more efficient? Or it can be just easier to use, right? If you find that angle and also don't try to build everything in the beginning, just find a wedge that where you can sell a product and you can have like bigger vision. That's one of the things that we do. I come from a technology background. I want to dream in big. And sometimes it's not great because you can't build and run at the same time, doing everything. So I would say just stay focused, solve one specific problem, and figure out who the partners are and who the competition is, right? To make connections. Healthcare is a little bit different. I'm a technology guy who could sit behind the computer and build a lot of stuff, automate a lot of stuff. But the decision makers are the people that your customer is different. You need to work with them. So that means you have to build that relationship, understand their pain points. And also, if you're coming from a technology background, first time founder, just be aware that the sales and marketing is very important. Just pay attention.
Anyway, Sridhar, thank you for joining
Mhm.
us today. It was amazing to hear your journey. You've come a long way, and
Mhm.
really hope that your organization meets your goals. And thank you for sharing your perspective on the healthcare operations and how TensorLinks is leveraging AI to improve patient experiences and provider efficiency. Thank you. Thanks a lot. And stay in touch.
Thank you, Anirudh, for having me. And I'm glad I was able to share my journey and it's helpful for your viewers. And to learn about us more, follow us at tensorlinks.ai.
Of
Thank you.
course, of course.